This week we're going to be showing you our underslung water tank, which is going to hold 250 litres of water. And we've got some interesting boat building techniques that we've used within this.
And we want to say welcome to all our new subscribers, and please do like, comment and subscribe. Thank you.
Enjoy!
Enjoy.
We're going to talk you through our freshwater setup that I'm going to be installing next. So we've gone for a 250 litre baffled tank. So it's important that it's baffled. Basically it means it's split into compartments. So when it is full, or when it has some water in it, when you stop or move, the water will go with gravity, and you want to reduce that to as little as possible. So I've gone for a baffled tank. I'm just going to walk you through some of the things that we need to have on here. So first and foremost, you need a way of filling the tank. So we have gone for an outlet that's going to go on the side of the bus, which will then be fed by some 40mm tubing. And we've done it with these clips. The other thing that you need to think about, so when you're filling the tank or when the tank is emptying, you need to account for air escaping the tank or filling the tank, depending on whether you are filling or emptying with water. So this is what this little 1/2-inch barb is for. So that will let any air out of the tank that might be in there. And there is also a vent on the back of the filler point. This here will be for our water in. So that will go to the pump. And this is for the inlet. Now what I'm going to do with mine, which is a little bit different, is actually install these points in the lid of my tank. So the reason why I'm going to try and do this is it means I don't have to drill the tank so much, and also I want to be able to access this from the top. So I'm going to be putting a hatch inside the boot area of the bus, so if I ever need to have a look at this I can quickly get to it. It also means that I can fully wrap this tank in insulation, which is going to be important to winterize it. So that brings me on to my next point. So for the most part we're going to be spending our holidays probably in the UK, in Europe, so the climate should be fine. But should it dip down below 0, we're going to have these heating pads and the tank insulated just to keep the chill off. Should we go to an even colder country, we're going to make sure that the bus is able and the system is able to switch to a tank that we could then just install in the garage area of the bus. So we won't be using this at all if we go to a really cold country like, Norway or the Scandinavian regions. So we have thought about that. The final thing I haven't got here, but I'll show you when I'm installing it, is a way to drain the tank. So we're going to use the fitting that was on here, and I'm going to put a standard copper garden tap on there, which means should we ever need to drain the tank, or even if I wanted to attach to the pressure washer, I could attach it to that tap and use it as I see fit. So that is our 250 litre tank. We're going to be installing that today. I'm going to be showing you how we're going to secure this weight, which, those of you who know, in the know, 1 litre of water is equal to 1 kilogram. So 250 litres of water, 250 kilograms. So we need to make sure it's secure in the bus. And we've been thinking hard about that too. So let's get on with it. Hello.
Hi guys, we have our fresh water tank, and we are going to put our heat pads on, the foam and the insulation.
So So next thing we're going to do is we're going to wrap it in this stuff. So this is just like what you use on a vapor barrier really, but we're going to use it just to keep the radiant heat from this in and the cold out a little bit, and also stop the tank from getting stone chipped underneath the bus, so we're going to give it a couple of layers. So we're going to wrap it around this now, do a magic time lapse, and then come back to you in a minute. One wrapped tank and a Christmas puzzle for some reason. So yeah, we wrapped it in this foil bubble wrap. The heat pads are on the bottom. We've used T-Rex tape, so it's not silver, which, you know, is not ideal in terms of it matching the colour, but in terms of it being weatherproof, this stuff's pretty aggressive and won't come off in the wet or the cold. So ready to go in under the bus. Next job is to install the freshwater tank, and it's going to go between the main chassis rails here. So what we've done already is installed this rectangular box section, which is both bolted and welded in, and then using threaded bar, the top and the bottom ones are going to support the weight of the water tank going in here. And then what we're going to do, just for additional support and security, is use this 50mm galvanised banding, which actually a lot of people just use this on its own, but because of the weight of the tank we wanted to make sure it is well supported. So I'm going to be putting this in lengthwise, and if I can, a couple around the belly of it as well, just to keep it nice and tight. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. I'm using all high tensile threaded bar and bolts, and then I've got nylock locking nuts to go on here. So the reason why I'm using nylock ones is to make sure once they're tightened up they won't work themselves loose with vibrations. This here is your standard 9mm internal fuel hose. I'm going to actually use that to protect the bars, so I'm going to be sliding that over here just to keep all of the road sort of salt and dirt and guff all off of the threads. So should I need to undo it in the future, they'll just be kept a little bit cleaner. And these here, these little eye bolts, I'm going to show you how I'm going to use those to tighten up this galvanised strapping a little bit later on. The horizontal strap is now on. I'm going to show you underneath here, underneath the bus. Let me crawl down underneath. Running along lengthwise, I have this galvanised banding. It goes all the way under, and then from side to side, so this needs to be tightened up a little bit more. From side to side, I have two galvanised straps hooked up on here, this main chassis rail. So these are pretty tight already, as you can see. And at the top here, I've got it on an eye bolt and a bolt above there, which means that I can tighten it up further. And should I need to take the tank off, I can undo these and lower the tank back down again. So what I'm going to do now is add a further strap like this on this side of the tank, all the way around up to the front, so it's nice and sturdy, and then I'll be able to tighten these up to give it that further stability. This is the business end of these horizontal straps that go underneath, and I've set this up in the same way as the one on the side. So you can see that I've got an eye bolt coming through the top here, and I can tighten that eye bolt up to tighten this strapping up underneath, and then it's attached to the one of the main chassis rails of the bus, so it's nice and tight. And I'm going to drill through and do the other one on this side now. So we've got two then running the length of the tank. We've got two straps running around the belly of the tank, and then we'll have three of these threaded beam sections also holding the tank up. These little L brackets, which if you've watched our previous videos you might recognise them. They came off of the original, well not original, they came off of the bus frame that they were using to hold all of those unwing rails in. So we've just reused 4 of them on this, and you know, they seem to work really well. They're going to allow us to tighten up these straps and loosen them off if we need to take the tank off, which is great. I'm going to pop a nut and bolt through here and then tighten it up, and then jobs are good. With that tank on a bit more. You can see it's all nice and tight under there now. I am going to do these up and then just button everything else down that little bit much further, and then you'll see that that isn't going to go anywhere. On the bench here we have the lid for the freshwater tank, and I'm going to mount some stuff in it like they do in boats. So in boats, obviously the tanks are all sort of sunk, underslung as it were, so in the hull, so you can't get to them from underneath. And I'm going to treat this the same sort of way. And I've got 4 things to put in here. So I've got the level sending gauge, which is going to go on one side. So I'm going to drill 18mm hole for that to go through. So it only needs to have this large bit underneath here through the hole. I need to put in the filler point, which I need to drill a 40mm hole for. So I'm going to use a hole saw for that here. And I have a 1/2 inch barb, which I'm going to be using for letting air out of the tank. I have a 1/2 inch barb, which I'm going to be using for the fresh water. And then I'm going to have to insert a pipe into here, a rigid pipe, that's going to act as a sort of way of drawing the water from the bottom of the tank to the top. I've popped the filler in here, and here is the outlet for the air. So that's on one side. Drilled the hole for the sander unit. So I'm just going to show you the bottom of this sander. It comes with a little gasket which you must put on, obviously to make sure it's watertight. And what I failed to notice straight away is this little notch here, and that shows you that that runs out where the wire is. So you can make sure you get those holes lined up. Here's the lid installed in the tank. Next up, we need to make our tank straw. The 1/2 inch connector here and this pipe here have got the same diameter inside, but for whatever reason it's just a bit too tight. So I've just popped it in some hot water to try and make it a little bit more malleable. And hopefully that'll allow it to sneak on in there. And voila, it did fit. And then Kelly christened this the tank straw, which is very fitting, we think. We may not have a floor yet, but we have all of the makings of our freshwater feed in. So I need to run this piece of flexible hose underneath here and up and out. So that's where our water pump's going to go. I still need to run the rest of this hose up to the filler point and test it. I'm waiting for this to arrive as well, which is going to be to let the air out, the breather. So I'm going to run this filler wiring out with this wiring for the heater pads and the thermometer. so that can go up into the vehicle. And then in a few months' time, when we've got things up and running, we should just be able to begin using this. So granted, it's a bit weird to do this as one of the early jobs in the build, but at least we won't have to do it towards the end, is my thinking. Just stop for break and eat my pizza. Lily and Kelly have made me. I've attached this air release hose to here now using this Michelor clip. I need to tighten it up still, but that's in there. So this is going to release any air from the tank as the tank's filling up, and likewise it'll let air into the tank as it's emptying, just so you don't have a build up of pressure or not enough pressure to let the water out. It works both ways. So I'm going to run that up attached to this hose underneath the van up here. This is the stuff that I'm going to need to install the filler point for the water. I've got a ruler here for measuring where it's going to go. Masking tape to mask up the outside of the bus, and very helpfully this is the same diameter as this, so I can use that to also draw a hole. Pen for drawing. Filler point. This filler point needs an 80mm hole saw. That's what I'm going to punch the hole through on the vehicle. I've got a 2mm drill bit here. And I've got a 5mm drill bit here. So this little one here is just going to be for the screws, to just give it a hole to go through, and this larger one here is to drill a pilot hole for this hole saw here. And then you need a drill as well. One final thing that you're going to need is, over in my scrap pile, to ignore the state of our front garden, a scrap piece of wood to pop on the back so you can screw through into it. And I'll show you how I'm going to do that in a minute. I've just marked out where I think the water filler should go. I'm trying to make my decisions on it. So I posted it up on Instagram for inspiration. This is for the water filler, Lil. Which do you think would...
B? I don't know. I don't think it matters.
You think A, do you?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's B.
Yeah. What do you think?
I thought B as well.
Just because it's usually lower.
Right, let's go check where it's come out. In the inside is where I expected it to come out. Yeah, it is.
I'm going to take a photo of this.
Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to screw this onto the back of there for that hole, so it's got something to drill through into.
Okay, here we go. Go and look.
These drills really... Oh, the battery's gone dead, of course it has.
Trying to loosen it.
A little bit more.
Whoa!
It's through.
Oh. Boo.
I see the bus. Now all of the tape is going to be gone.
Yeah.
I chose B because B is better.
Is it?
B is the best. B's the best. B, 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 B. I'm going to take off this one too.
Okay.
Draw a dot in the middle of these holes with that pen. That's it. Good. Good job. That's it. Go on then.
Yay!
Good job. Right, third one.
That's cool.
Right, wait, don't press it yet. Right, you happy it's in the centre?
Yeah.
Go on then, go for it. Good job.
Very good.
Edge on the outside.
Yeah. And very nice paint. What colour was it? Okay. Whoa, cool.
So what you do is just put it literally just the tip in like this.
Yeah. Literally just the top.
Yes, and then
What?
wipe it off like that. And what you want to do is just come around the edge like this.
Oh. Okay.
Can you do that, Bubba?
Yeah. I could do that, Daddy. Done.
Got to do this bit here as well, that's it, all the way round.
This is on the inside that we need to do.
Done?
What? Yeah.
Okay, just going to tighten these up. I'll do it by hand so I don't over tighten them. I'm going to go around a few turns on each so we get an even distribution of pressure on that gasket that's inside the ring. We can clean it up, go on inside and attach the hose. Filler point is in. White hammer right around the hole. So before and a little bit afterwards as well, just to be doubly sure. Just put a couple of litres of water through and it does flow through into the tank. So all good, it's all in. Onwards to the next job. So that's our underslung water tank setup all explained. Next week we're going to show you the tank straw because we're going to try and test to see if that even works.
And we've also made a massive list that we have cushioned Lord Listington that is hopefully going to get us ready to start putting our floor in.
So again, a huge thanks guys for watching. If you're not already a subscriber, please do consider subscribing. It's the easiest way of you helping us grow the channel. And we love having you all along for our journey. So thanks for watching. Stay safe guys.
1, 2, 3,
Bye! Drill bits are rubbish. Don't buy 100 drill bits for £10 off eBay.
They're boo poo poo. The installation on it today.
Insulation.
What did I say?
Installation. Taken for a test drive with this 1 litre watering can. There's a little luck, it's in the water tank. There's any leaks. Not enough for it to empty, but it's in there.